back, and the next thing, well, we talked about the pile of shame. I've been trying to get through my pile of shame and doing a really good job. I'm on Necrons right now, and the book just came out for Necrons, so that's exciting. I have a Flak 88 that I want to do. I definitely want to play Saw Bridge at some point. So anyone has Flak 88s? Because I need two more.
I don't.
No?
I need to
I've
get
got
one.
I've got one for Africa Core Flak 88.
That still works.
It'll work.
So Phil, you just need to bring yours, and then Mark, we need to buy one more.
I'll buy one.
Break
I'll
break
get one.
down and buy one. Yeah.
I'll buy one.
It's a really fun scenario. Everyone that's played it really likes it. It's in the Market Garden book.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I know it. I know what it is. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. And then I got the Stalingrad 2 book. Did you guys get that?
The second, no, is that Case Blue or?
Yeah, Case Blue.
No, I
Yeah.
don't have that.
It's
I have.
fantastic.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really, really good. They've got so many cool rules. And
Yeah,
they
I've
have,
heard they made the Italians viable and fun to play in that book.
yes, they did. They really upgraded the Italians. They're back playable again.
Nice.
And we're
So
all waiting for V3. I think all this stuff will be gathered for V3.
I'm a little scared when people change the rules, so we'll see what happens.
Well, what about Achtung Panzer? What's that going to be?
I saw that. It reminded me, I didn't know. I just thought off the top of my head it was like What a Tanker from Two Fat Lardies, but I could be wrong. I have no idea. Do
We
you know
have
what it's about?
not a
I
thing.
I mean, I think it's more like a tank war where you control just a handful of tanks with no infantry. So I mean, it might be just anywhere from 3 to 5 tanks. What a tanker, you're controlling one tank a person, but I think this is like 3 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. All they're saying is it's close up and personal combat with tanks, and they flash the bolt action symbol. I mean, logo at the end of their ad. So we're assuming that it's based on the bolt action game.
So
It's not a
I'm
supplement.
wondering what the difference between tank war and that is.
Well, tank
Right.
war allows infantry. It lets you do full bolt action platoons. I don't think these are full bolt action platoons. These are just tank squadrons.
Okay.
Yeah, so something akin to like what Goodwood was and Kursk. A lot of, the infantry was slogging to
Right.
catch up.
Yeah. Right
But
on. We'll see what happens.
yeah, sounds really fun and cool.
Yes,
Mhm.
might have to go buy some more tanks.
There
Yeah,
you go.
someone was mentioning they were hoping it wasn't going to be an epic game. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, the millimeter,
Yeah.
15 millimeter. Yeah.
Yeah, and get us to buy a whole bunch of new tanks and that sort of thing.
I don't think so because people would buy the Battlefront tanks because those are already out and better at that scale. So yeah, than anything that they would do from scratch, I would bet.
Yeah, so Octu Panzer, we talked about the GW buy of ITC, and we don't know how much that's going to change LVO or Frontline Gaming, how much that's I haven't gone even to the Frontline Gaming site. I don't think we'll see much change there. And then we talked about Bolt Action Alliance. So I think, is there anything else on what's happening right now around your neck of the woods that you guys want to talk about?
I know. Oh, go ahead, Phil.
I was going to say, I mean, we have some events coming up, but as far as news, there really isn't any other news that I know about.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure of any news.
Okay, so what's the next church thing? And when I say church thing, I mean the All Saints, right? Is that what it's called?
St. Michael's All
Angels.
Angels
Yeah.
Episcopal Church.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So I think the 17th we have a colonial event at Odyssey Games, and that's gonna be I'm gonna try to put Sword in the Flame, but it's mainly Men Who Want to Be Kings, which is an Osprey game. I like it. It's easy to play. It's the leader. If you make leader characters, it changes the game a lot. So it's fun. It's just like Rebels and Patriots, same structure. And then on the 24th, we're gonna have the event at the church, which is gonna be our land and sea event. And I think Phil's gonna sneak some air in maybe.
I mean, airplanes fighting over the sea, it's practically a sea event. So
I
yeah.
agree. So we're gonna play Cruel Seas and what's the other Victory at
Victory at
Sea?
sea.
So I have nothing with that. I'm just gonna show up because other people have everything for that.
And the land part is bolt action, so there'll be some bolt action as well.
So I'll bring Bolt Action then.
Is there blood red skies at that event too?
That's what I'm probably going to bring, yes. So there will be some. So yeah, I will bring, if I finish these zeros, I'll bring the Pacific stuff. I may have or may not have also ordered some more planes for the Pacific, but if not, if I don't get those done in time, I will have some Europe. I got plenty of European planes that we could use.
Sweet. So yeah, gonna be a land, sea, air event.
That sounds
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
And that's how many people are showing up nowadays for that event, those events there at the
Uh,
church?
we're, we're getting between 6 to 10, I think, on average.
That's very healthy. And you
Yeah,
know me, I love that place.
yeah, it's a great event. It's a free event for everyone, so that's nice. It's a big space, nice parking. So yeah, and then Dan, who opens it up for us, is open to bringing whatever game you want. So just, let him know and we can get you a table space. And if you don't want to play any of those games, we can play something else.
But more importantly, Dan brings lots of food.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's good snacks in the morning there. So it keeps you going through the day and good times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he buys sandwiches and chips and dip and healthy food too. I know
Yeah.
chips and dip is not healthy food, but
Hey,
the turkey wraps he buys all the
yeah,
time, and all you have to do is just bring some cash and
yeah.
dump it in. You don't have to leave and go out and eat, which takes so much time and energy.
Right. Right. No, it's a
Yeah.
good event, good times, good people there, nice game players that are just open to play and want to play. So,
Yeah, but big shout out to Dan for,
for sure.
bringing that facility to our use and really just upping the ante as far as hospitality.
Yeah, and so I guess he has a Cruel Seas set he wants to play with, and so we're gonna do the sea stuff. I've never played any of those games, Victory at Sea. Navy's really not usually my cup of tea, but I mean I'll play it if we're gonna play something. That's great, but usually I'll just stick to land stuff. But
There'll be air stuff as well if you're interested. So
yeah,
Yeah, the Blood Red Skies is a very easy game to pick up. Um, and it's tricky. I mean, there's a lot of strategy involved. I always think of it as an easy game to play, but hard game to master.
yeah,
yeah,
if you're familiar with Wings of War or X-Wing, it's nothing like those. The tactics are
No,
completely different.
yeah. It all has hinges on this ability to be neutral or advantaged or disadvantaged, and who is and who isn't. There's a lot of baiting. You
Yeah.
bait people into situations.
uh-huh.
There's a lot of nuance to it. Wouldn't you say, Phil?
I would agree, yes. And some of the newer products have started introducing some like torpedo bombing scenarios, so you could torpedo bomb ships and stuff like that, and ground targets. So it's starting to grow. They just came out with the Italian Air Force as well for that game.
Is this
So
is this a turn base or a random?
it's turn-based, but the order that planes move on the turn is not strictly followed. It's not I go, you go.
Mhm.
The planes that are advantaged go before planes that are disadvantaged, and the
Got it.
planes with better pilots go before planes with worse pilots,
Got
and
it.
the faster planes go before slower planes as well. So there's 3 or 4 levels of choices about which plane goes before which other plane.
So you don't want the Brewster Buffalo.
No.
If you're a masochist, maybe. I mean, yeah, it could probably absorb some hits. I would say. I've never used it. I don't have the card for it, but yeah.
The thing I like about the game is that once you start to engage, it becomes very tricky because of this system where people are moving at different times. So you're advantaged. Do you really want to rush in, try to get some shots, and then leave yourself wide open to everyone else that's moving later? Is that kind
Right.
of the right,
Yeah, and,
Bill?
and the battles kind of become big fur balls fairly quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
you fly in formation, but that breaks apart very quickly. It seems like it most of the time that I've played that game.
Yeah, sounds
It's
like
like,
real life.
yeah, there's so many targets of opportunity, and that sort of changes everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've wanted to get the planes, and I was gonna buy it, and then I saw the 72nd starter set, and I was like, oh no, that's gonna be great. And then realized you still need a lot of surface area to play with 72nd planes. Even
Yes.
though you're playing the same game, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So I'll have to break down and buy. Which set should I buy, Phil?
You definitely want the Midway set. The Battle of Britain set was their first set. The plane models are fairly horrible and bendy plastic. Uh,
Oh,
the Battle of Midway's got their nice new, I think it's a resin. It's what they make all their planes out of now. So you definitely want the Midway. You want to stay away from Battle of Britain.
so
Okay.
what about is there any, do we know on the horizon, is there any like Battle in the East, France of 40 kinds of things happening mid battle in the desert?
I am not sure. They just finished coming out with the Italians. I do not know what is next after that.
How did they release the Italians? I mean, that's all Mediterranean and
Yeah,
North Africa.
it is, but they already had, I mean, all the a good amount of Germans and British planes out already. So they had, I mean, there are plenty of people. I mean, and they don't release um, maps or boards or anything. You got to provide your own mat or something like that. So there really is no terrain involved in the game, and there's no real. The scenarios aren't really tied to the specific theaters. They haven't done that yet. They have theater cards. I don't know if they have like the African theater cards or Mediterranean theater cards. I'd have to double check because I've only played really European and Pacific so far. That's all I've looked into.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds like a cool game though.
It does. Now, Strategicon is the next big thing coming up, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's unfortunately the same weekend as the Odyssey games,
Yeah.
Man Who Would Be King. So I'm not sure why that happened. There's a
Yes.
couple of littler things at Strategicon. There's a Flames of War demo. There's a bolt action 500 point tournament. But the big things is on the 17th, which is the same day as the Man Who Would Be Kings.
Right.
There's going to be a giant pike and shot English Civil War games, and I think Martin and Anna might be running that. And then
Yeah.
on Sunday, there's going to be a giant black powder Napoleonics game, and I believe Luis is running that.
Nice.
So
So I guess scheduling. I didn't. I always forget that strategic cons on those 3-day weekends.
so I mean, this is President's Day weekend. Yeah, so there isn't much going
Yeah.
on Monday, but certainly on Saturday and Sunday,
Yeah.
there's at least one giant game each day, plus a lot of littler options available.
Well, I hope people get out to the pike and shot because I know they're trying to get that going.
Yeah, and it's English Civil War, and I know, yeah, so that'll be those will be impressive looking games as they've used these models before. So
Yes.
Well,
Anyway,
that's really cool because now Strategicon, are they the same people who put on the Labor Day event as
yes,
well? Okay.
yeah, they do Memorial Day, Labor Day, and President's Day are three conventions a year.
yeah, I forgot about the President's Day.
That one's really spectacular, isn't it? It's down
Um,
at the Hilton.
yeah, it is, and I think the President's Day one is usually their biggest attendance one. I mean, the others are in the summer, so people are really away for school and stuff like that. But for President's Day, everyone's still in town and stuff. So it's usually
Yeah.
the one that has our biggest attendance.
For
It's
sure.
President's Day.
Yes.
Oh,
The
I didn't
17th.
realize that.
Yep.
But you can go online and see everything that's being offered. And how much are tickets?
I think it's 50 for the weekend, 30 for a day, maybe. I know online you can get the weekend pass, the day passes you have to, I believe, buy in person. But once you buy the attendee ticket, all the events are covered, so you don't have to pay for individual events or anything like that. And usually you could sign up the day of. You could sign up right now. Actually, you could go online. If you pre-buy a badge, you could pre-sign up for events. But there is usually room for you to sign up for miniatures games at the convention. I don't think they fill up. They'll find room for you.
Yeah. And then
Nice.
in May is Sand Wars, or yeah, they're calling it Sand Wars in Phoenix or Mesa, California, which is the same.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I haven't been there. I don't think I'll be going this year, but it sounds like they got a lot of historical events that they're busy planning right now.
Yes, I've never been, don't know anything much about it, but yeah, sounds fun.
It's sort of a hike for me, but I think when my funds become a little more ready available, I can do it. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do it this year. So we'll
Yeah,
just have to rely on the pictures that they post and all the people that went and said something about it.
for sure.
Um, so black powder and Napoleonics, what's the situation there? Are you guys involved in that at all? But I don't think we've ever
I am
played it.
not. I'm not. Oh, he's muted.
We lost him.
Like, I've played some Black Powder, AWI as we talked about earlier, but that's about it. I have never played any Napoleonics. That's an army I do not want to build in 28 or 15 millimeter.
Yeah. Now, so of all the systems, there's the Osprey, right, which is the Rebels and Patriots, and then there's the Muskets and Tomahawks, right? And then
Yes.
there's the black powder version, right? And
Yes.
then there's the Sword and Flame, is that correct?
That's a little bit later, sort
Was
of
that
flame. It's
later?
like late
Okay.
1800s.
So what's the other one that I'm missing? There's one more system.
Um, I think you
Sharp
got
practice. Do
it.
you use sharp
Sharp
practice?
practice. No, I
Yeah.
did not say sharp practice. That
Yeah.
thank you, Phil, for being on your toes. So of all four of those, which ones do you guys like the best and why?
So I've played most of them. I played Muskets and Tomahawks version one, not the new version two. I've played Rebels and Patriots, played Sharp Practice, and I've played Rebels and Patriots. If you want a big game, Rebels and Patriots does that the best. But if you want a skirmish game of about 30 models, that's the other three games all do that. And I've had the most fun with Muskets and Tomahawks, actually. It has the most flavor, I think, for the AWI period, in that there's a lot of small skirmishes. Usually the terrain is very heavily forested and wooded. There's a lot of wooded terrain. There's a lot of Native Americans, for example, who make use of that kind of terrain and stuff like that. Um, Sharp practice Napoleonics really expect you to have like big flat areas and stuff like that where most of their battles were fought. Um, it's not I go, you go. It's got an interesting card-based activation scheme. Um, I mean, I enjoy them all. I like Sharp Practice. I like Rebels and Patriots, and those Rebels and Patriots is probably the easiest one to learn. But I think Muskets and Tomahawks is my favorite.
When I played Rebels and Patriots, and I unfortunately played against Mark, who had really there's really sharpshooter is the only way to go.
Yeah, the veteran sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I found it to be a little like you almost have to force people to play lists. It's not like a list building game. It's more of a historical, these are the kinds of troops and this is what you got to play with and move on from there because
Rebels and Patriots expects you that your troops are more in a line and you're shooting each other in giant lines and stuff like that. That is not the case with muskets and tomahawks. There's a lot more terrain. You're not supposed to see all the way across the board. There's a lot more skirmishing and stuff going on rather than just lines shooting at each other.
I think muskets and tomahawks treats the natives and the militia most realistically. The natives get to be used in the jungle, I mean the forest, and get to hand-to-hand combat really deadly. Where in Rebels and Patriots, the natives aren't really worth it. They just get killed pretty fast. And then the militia in muskets and tomahawks, basically they're one shot and they're out of there, which is pretty much real life. It's just a bunch of scared farmers, fighting against maybe some British grenadiers or whatever. So I like muskets and tomahawks a lot more. I haven't really played sharp practice. It seems like more of an adventure game where you have a lot of scenario to it, a lot of ins and outs. But it seems really fun.
I mean,
Rebels and
sharp.
Patriots is just easy to teach people. I would take that to teach someone really fast a game.
I mean, Sharp's practice. I mean, was designed to be the Sharp TV show if you've ever seen that. So it is an adventure game, but again, it wasn't designed for AWI specifically. They've got lists that you could use, but it's more for the flavor of the Sharp Napoleonic type of shows and battles.
okay.
Yeah.
And you
So
have
it
you
seems
have
like
armies for both, right?
I mean, it's the same. Americans are Americans are Americans in all those games. So I don't have any British, but I have lots of Americans.
I think the real Sharp practice takes place in the Peninsula War. So it's like Sharp is part of the, I forget what, the Green Jacket Regiment of the Napoleonic British. And I've seen the show once.
I'm sure people are yelling at their podcast right now since we do
Yeah,
not know what that is. So
right. Yeah. No,
How
it's a very
dare you not know the Green
it's
Jaegers of
right. Yeah. No, it's the guy from Lord of the Rings, Bean.
Oh, Sean Bean.
Don Bean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's the actor in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Well, I'll have to check in on that. But
Mhm.
I'm kind of under right now this big workload. When I get out, I'm definitely gonna want to play some Blood Red Skies and BattleTech and Bolt Action. Those are my right on first, and I want to play Necrons in 40K, but that's a
Yeah,
different game.
sure.
So what are your chomping on the bit games that you don't get enough time to play, Phil?
Right now it's Blood Red Skies, and I'm trying to change that right now. So I'm busy painting planes. I mean, I'm taking a little break from BattleTech after LVO because that was enough to hold me for a while. Been also playing a little bit of Chain of Command as well. I've been enjoying that. It's a lot different than Bolt Action. Seems a little bit more historical, in the makeup of your troops and your platoon and stuff like that. So I'm finding that because to be honest, I was getting kind of bored with Bolt Action. I mean, I've been playing Bolt Action since version 1, and after a while, it all seems kind of the same. I did like the new, being Mark, those new scenarios you brought because those were fun and stuff like that. It was
Yeah,
nice to do something different with Bolt Action.
yeah, they mix it up nicely, but I agree with you on Chain of Command. It's like a really great game. I when I'm done playing it, my brain is dead, like for sure. I just gotta go veg out for a while. It's intense, but I love it.
It's a brain burner. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to bring it to the church sometime then? Probably in like May, maybe?
Yeah, we'll play it anytime.
Okay.
Other Paul and I are playing the pint-sized campaign for Bloody Bucket. It's the Battle of the Bulge. I'm Germans. I'm trying to break through his line. Not been successful so far, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the main difference is with list building is that if you're an American rifle platoon, you have 3 squads, or your platoon has your platoon leader and the 3 squads, and they each have the fixed amount of stuff. So you need 10 men with 2 bars and a submachine gun in each platoon or something like that. And you need a leader, and then based on whose force is stronger than the other and what scenario you're playing, you might have more support options. And the support options then you could pick from yourself. And there are things from you'll get a sniper up to a tank, depending upon how much support you have and stuff like that.
This
Yeah,
sounds like kind of a hard game to plan for, doesn't it? Or build for?
I,
yes.
it's easy to build that. If you're Americans, you need to build the standard American rifle platoon and make sure you got one of those, or a standard American airborne platoon and build one of those, and then make sure that you've got the supports are valued from like 1 to 6. You got to make sure that you at least have one thing maybe in each of those categories. So it's and then but when you get to the actual battle, do you find out what the support level will actually be based on what your opponents brought and what the scenario is. So yeah, some of it you have to do on the fly, which is challenging sometimes.
Yeah, and you're using your NCOs and your major officer the constantly the whole you're basically your squads are broken into teams, and then you can send out your machine gun team or your rifles part your rifle team. It's a lot, but
But
it's
but
really fun.
but I love it because machine guns are so much more useful than they are in bolt action,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
some of the other and yeah,
The mortar, it doesn't just miss, it lands somewhere else,
yeah,
so
mortars are nasty in this game.
yeah.
You learn not to clump your troops together when a mortar's showing up.
Yeah, for sure. It's more realistic. I like it a lot. Not to speak bad about bolt action in any way, but
It's a
Chain of
more
Command is
it's
really
a
good.
it's a more complicated historical game. So I mean, it's fun in a different sort of way than bolt action, and I like them both. I
Yes.
mean, the games are certainly take a lot longer to play in Chain of Command usually than bolt action.
Well, also
Oh,
you can lose a game in 10 minutes. Like I've set up a game and and then in 30 minutes I was done because your men die up really fast in this game, you know, just like real life. You can't expose your men, you know. So it's a good game.
Yeah, so if I were to purchase this, where would I go?
twofatlardies.com. And I mean, all you really need is the rule book. They have PDFs. I would suggest the PDF. If you want a hardcover, you could purchase from them, but they're an English company and they would ship it to you. And honestly, you could find it cheaper on eBay if you want a hard copy of Chain of Command. They sell, um, there's expansions, they sell markers, but you really don't need the markers. I would say you just need the rule book and either a PDF. I mean, I have whenever I buy the games, I buy them in PDF. I do not own any of them in hardcover yet. So I've got like 4 or 5 PDFs though.
And how much are the PDFs?
Like that one's the main rule book's like $15, but the campaigns are like 7.
Yeah. But the hardcovers are like 40 to 50. And they're soft covers, but they're 40 to 50. And if you get them shipped from England, that'll be another $10, $15 in another month
But
of
you don't know of
delay.
any game stores that are
I
actually
actually bought mine from Shield Wall Gaming. Shield Wall.
right. I heard of that. Yeah, I remember you talking about that last episode. But so you can't go to like Brea or
No,
Geeky Tees or anything. You're not going to find any of this.
no.
That,
Noble
that,
Knight has some of them and eBay has the rest. Yeah.
I
Okay.
thought maybe that Lost Planet had it.
They don't have, they have other things, but they don't have Two Fat Lardies games.
Well,
Or maybe it was Brookhurst. One of those down there have it.
Brookhurst might, I don't know if they carry lots of stuff. It's been a long time since I've been to Brookhurst though.
that's a little far for you, even though Brookhurst, right?
It's over an hour drive. Yeah, it's an hour drive or so to Brookhurst. So yeah,
An hour?
it's 40 something miles. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's an hour for me. I mean, if it's good traffic, I can do it in 50, but I didn't realize it was that far from you.
it's fun. Yeah, I'm 40 miles the wrong direction up to 405. So
Oh, so for Mark, it's 2 days to get there.
Yes, that's a big adventure to go down there for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I think if that's a game that you guys want to play, then I'll have to pay the $15 and
I highly recommend you watch the videos on YouTube.
okay.
Just get a flavor for it, what's going on. The main owner of the game, Richard, I forget his last name. He shows it a lot. He has a lot of demonstrations. So
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we've covered what's coming up on the horizon, what we want to play, what we wish we had time and money for.
right.
Is there anything else you guys can think of that you wanted to mention?
I mean, I think the podcast is going to be back to a regular schedule now.
yeah.
I mean,
Nice.
I had some family issues that I had to deal with, and those are over now, which is why there was no podcast the last couple months. But I think we should be back doing this monthly now. I hope, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. We'll do it.
For
Try to do it as close to the beginning of the month as possible. And I can do that. So I'm looking forward to getting us back on a regular pace. And then we're really talking about getting it published in a couple of other places too, to get some more,
Sure.
yeah, FaceTime, see what people say about it. I know some people emailed me and said, "Where's the podcast?" You know,
There you
so
go.
it
Good.
is being listened to.
The fans are excited about our podcast.
It's
Yeah.
my fault. Blame me. Yeah.
No, because
No, no
we were
blame.
going to do it a
No
week
blame.
earlier and I just completely forgot.
Absence
So,
makes the heart grow fonder, right?
oh, yes.
Yeah.
So nice, Mark.
So nice.
All right. So
Okay.
if that's all, we will end our recording here and then we'll
Perfect.
talk off the mic. So
Awesome.
yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. It has been real fun.
Yep.
Bye,
We'll
everyone.
see you.